Hello again everybody, welcome back to Dark Souls 3. Last time we basically went in a circle, which of course made us unlock a shortcut, and now we're just gonna jump right back into the fray. But you know, we no need to fight those guys, we fought them before. This is something that the Souls games do rather well. They allow you to just run past everything. This part here is actually part of the boss run, because the boss obviously is in that direction. And you can actually just run to the boss in this game, or rather in all Souls games, relatively fast. I'd say that Dark Souls 2 is probably the worst about its boss runs, but as long as you scout it out properly, it's still fairly easy. But anyway, back on topic. This is Dark Souls 3. Here's an item I forgot to pick up, but it's nothing too special anyway. It's a green blossom, which speeds up stamina recovery if we use it, and we also found a longsword of the corpse of an enemy, which is a decent drop, though we do have something better at this point. And I might be wrong, but I think that these encounters on the path here are actually designed to be played coming from that way, from the shortcut. And again, I might be wrong about that, but it certainly seems that way. They work anyway. And now we're gonna deal with a ton of those knights. Now, as you may remember, they are fairly tough. There's the Great Shield and Spear variant. We fought one last video, but I kind of didn't really get too into it. Essentially, they are kind of a slower variant of the sword guys. I would recommend circling them clockwise. Normally, circling an enemy counterclockwise is better, or rather, circling them to the opposite hand of their dominant one. But those knights have something to counter it. It's a shield bash, and it is fairly annoying if it happens, because it also damages you, and if you block, it just drains your stamina, opening you up for one more hit. And those guys do have a chance to drop their armor set, as well as Titanite shards and their weapons. So for this LP, I just grinded here a bit, hoping to get their set. It took me quite a while though. Like, certain parts just dropped over and over and didn't get the parts I needed. Though the chance of each part dropping are the same, I just got unlucky. But anyway, once I was done with grinding, I had 40,000 souls I had to dump into something. But oh well. Again, I can't stress it enough. If you're playing this game normally, there's no real need for you to ever grind. It's just that I want to show off certain weapons, which makes me need to upgrade them, so I need Titanite shards, as well as armor sets, which, you know, might mean, like in this case, that I have to fight enemies over and over until I get all parts of it. Now, there's one last guy up there, those stairs, but we're actually gonna save him until we get back out here. Now, if you excuse me for a moment, I have something to take care of before we talk to this NPC at the end of the room.
The wait has been long, unkindled one. I am Emma, High Priestess of Lothric Castle. Allow me to speak frankly. You will not find the Lords of Cinder here. They have left, gone, to their journeying homes converging at the base of this castle. Head to the bottom of the high wall, forge on through the great gate, and raise this banner to proceed. This farewell gift is for you. It is the insignia of an old covenant. If you fear trespassers, dark spirits drawn by the embers, then etch this upon your heart, and the old Concord will beckon noble blue sentinels to hunt these foul spirits. Unkindled one, head to the high wall's base. Go through the great gate and raise this banner to proceed. But beware, the dog keeps a close eye on things. The vile watchdog of the Boreal Valley.
Alright, so she basically told us what the intro cinematic already told us, and that the Lords of Cinder didn't link the fire, but did something else instead. And oh, missed a spot here. And she also gave us a key item, to proceed, as well as a Covenant item. I'll be getting a bit into that later. For now, let's check out these guys here. Those are pilgrims. We don't quite know what's up with them. We saw them briefly in the intro cinematic, and essentially they all seem to flock towards that church or cathedral, whatever you can call it here. And up here, as promised, we have another one of those knights. Now this one is a particularly powerful one. You can tell because he has a blue cape instead of a red one. So it's best to backstab him. He is, after all, turned around for a reason. Other than that, he fights exactly the same as the sword and shield guys. He just has more HP and does more damage, and he can also buff his sword, which, you know, powers it up considerably. But his buff is purely physical as far as I know, so he should still be able to block every single hit. And for beating him, you always get a refined gem, the first time around at least. He has a chance to drop more if you fight him again. He can also drop the same things that the other knights drop, but he has a slightly higher chance of dropping it, I believe, because, you know, he's a tougher opponent. And yeah, there's even more of those pilgrims. They seem to be everywhere, and they're all headed towards the same place. But anyway, let's not worry too much about those and just carry on. Knowing where enemies are ahead of time helps tremendously, of course. Your first time around, that guy, since he's kind of stealthy, might actually get you. Because, you know, he's just kind of sitting there. Not doing anything until he activates. Surprisingly, there's nothing here, not even an item. Kinda disappointing. I would have expected that. And this just goes to show that the kick is incredibly useful. Sometimes the kick will not actually guard break an opponent. In that case, it usually helps to just kick a second time. That tends to do the job. And now this looks ominous. But Emma, the lady in the church up there, told us to just head down to the base of the castle. And, you know, the base is down and this is down, so it's probably where I need to go. Okay, here's our first proper boss fight, Vort of the Boreal Valley. And he's not too tough, but especially if it's your first time around, he can, you know, get you rather easily. Unless you know, kind of the trick to him, which is like most bosses that are in all fours, just get under them, you can wreck them fairly easily. However, at 50% health, he will reach phase 2. In phase 2, the music amps up, as it's just demonstrated, and the boss gets all new moves. Now, he will be able to just dash at you up to 3, maybe 4 times, and he can do this Ice Breath. If he does the Ice Breath, just use the opportunity and wreck him. You can't get under him as easily anymore because he has a shockwave attack, but sometimes he doesn't even do it. And I kind of like the visual storytelling in this arena. Like, the ground is all screwed up, and there's roots here, kind of holding the door together, implying that it's been shut for a long time, meaning that Vort was very successful in defending it. And also very prolific because, you know, the ground is very damaged. Anyway, now we could raise the banner and continue, but there's something else that we want to do for now. You may remember that dragon, or rather, that wyvern that we just ran past gloriously when we went through here originally. Now you can actually damage him by shooting arrows at him, or magic. You can just blind aim magic. It's not that reliable because you can't really use binoculars anymore. But you know, you can do it if you want. And just shooting arrows is obviously the best way to go in my opinion. Oh, it can take a while. But eventually, without even draining his health bar completely, the wyvern will just fly away. You will get a large Titanite shard, which is nice to have this early in the game. It's the earliest large Titanite shard that you can find in the game. And now, of course, we can also pick up all the treasure here. Now the treasure between the door to the room where we fought the Mimic and the stairs, that one you can just pick up rather easily. But the Claymore back here, that one can be a bit tough. You'll probably die on your way back at least. And now back down to that cell. You remember that key we picked up? We went a rather lengthy detour for it. Let's actually use that key. And rescue what's hopefully a good friend.
Ah. You're no jailer, are you? No, you're from far away. And judging by the bell, you must be some of that unkindled ash. Remarkable. If that's true, then I have a favor to ask. Below the high wall is a musty little town. Not the home of any lord, just a very old settlement of undead. An old woman, Loretta, lives there. Please, give her this ring. I'm not asking for charity. In fact, if you do this for me, I'll be sure to repay you in kind. I may be a petty thief, but I've more wits than most royalty. What do you say then, huh? Very well. I humbly place my faith in you. I am Grey Rat of the Undead Settlement, and I promise to assist you. Give this ring to old Loretta at the base of the high wall. Do your part, and I'll do mine.
A blue tearstone ring increases our defense once we are low enough with health. It's actually quite useless, but there's no reason to not wearing it until we find Loretta. And now let's have a look at the weapon we can make from Vort's soul. There's actually two things that we can make from Vort's soul. First, Vort's Great Hammer. Great Hammer wielded by Vort, the Outrider Knight of the Boreal Valley. Weapon is imbued with frost and causes frostbite. Frost accumulates in the body, causing frostbite, which saps one's health, lowers absorption, and slows stamina recovery. The skill's Perseverance, which basically just increases overall poise for a very short duration. It is basically what you expect a Great Hammer to do. It does decent damage, I suppose, and the moveset is alright, considering it's a Great Hammer. And the other thing that we can make of it is the Pontiff's Left Eye. Now, the Pontiff's Left Eye is a ring. Essentially, if we just attack a lot, do a lot of successive attacks, we get some extra HP with each hit, but it's not that good. It doesn't work quite as well as I would hope to. Anyway, the description goes as follows. Bewitched ring that Pontiff Sullivan bestowed upon his knights recovers HP with successive attacks. Knights who peer into the black orb are lured into battles of death, transformed into frenzied beasts. No wonder the Pontiff only provides these rings to those dispatched in foreign lands. So, Vort is an Outrider Knight and a frenzied beast. A little bit of Bloodborne influence there because there's, you know, a lot of beast stuff going on in Bloodborne. But for now it's just interesting to know that he once was more of a humanoid person until he kind of declined to beasthood. Anyway, next time we'll be able to erase that banner and head to the next area, but for now I think we've done about enough, so see you again next time.